Many people might be asking why you're publishing this book now when we already have a Pope and Pope Francis. So why now?
Sure. Well, it really goes to the point that conclaves are often announced, and it's a very short notice between when they're announced and when the actual conclave happens. And there's very little time in which to get to grips with who might be Pope. So we want to sort of preempt that, because of course we don't know when a conclave is going to happen. And so this is really so that we can be prepared, we know exactly who they are, and it doesn't have any bearing on this present pontificate or any past pontificate.
All of us here, I'm sure, have spent time over the years talking to cardinals who have participated in a papal election. To a man, they will all tell you they were conscious that it was the single most important thing they were ever going to do in their lives. The Pope matters, and the last thing you want the cardinals to be is uninformed when they have to make that monumental choice. So, Edward, I don't think you have to say you hope this is a service to the Church. I can declare dogmatically that this is a service to the Church.
The Francis pontificate has been such an era of a sort of papal activity, intense media coverage of the papacy, and sort of particular pushes for reform or change driven by the Holy Father himself, that there may be a desire among the cardinal electors in the next conclave to sort of take the temperature down a bit. So I think this is in certain ways, it's a calmer moment in the Church and a more fraught moment in the world than it was 2 years ago. And that might arguably push the cardinal electors to look anew for dynamism. I think the cardinals probably know each other less than would have been the case in the past. And then the other change, obviously, is the fact that we now have a Pope Emeritus, and the fact that the last Pope before Pope Francis, Pope Benedict, resigned. And that, too, creates, I think, a different atmosphere, where it's not just that you're waiting for the possibility of God calling the Holy Father home, you're also waiting for a possible decision point.
Because every Pope during the history has always first to reform the Church, and second, fight against the internal and external enemies of the Church, because the Church is a militant Church with enemies, and the mission of the Pope, it is to defend the Catholic people against the enemies.